Hi everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S4 from Metro PCS and the Nexus 5 from Google. We're going to start with the design. This, the Nexus 5 and the Samsung Galaxy S4, they're both smartphone devices. The Nexus 5 is running 4.4.2 and the Samsung Galaxy S4 is running 4.3 at the moment. The weight, the Nexus 5 weighs 4.59 ounces or 130 grams, and the Samsung Galaxy S4 weighs 4.59 ounces or 130 grams. Now we're gonna go to display. The Nexus 5 has a 5-inch screen. Also, the Samsung Galaxy S4 has a 5-inch screen. The resolution on the Nexus 5 is 1080 by 1920 pixels, and the resolution on the Samsung Galaxy S4 is 1080 by 1920 pixels. The pixel density on the Nexus 5 is 445 ppi, and the digital pixel density on the Samsung Galaxy S4 is 441 ppi. The technology that they're using on the screen, the Nexus 5 is using a IPS LCD and the Samsung Galaxy S4 is using a Super AMOLED. They are both multi-touch. Features: the Nexus 5 has a light sensor, proximity sensor, scratch resistant glass, and the Samsung Galaxy S4 has a light sensor, proximity sensor, scratch resistant glass. Now we're gonna jump to the camera. The Nexus 5 back camera or rear camera has an 8 megapixel, and the one in the Samsung Galaxy S4 has 13 megapixel. They both have LED. The aperture size on the Nexus 5 is f2.4 and on the Samsung Galaxy S4 is f2.2. The focal length on the Nexus 5 is 30.4 millimeters and on the Samsung Galaxy S4 is 31 millimeters. The feature of the camera on the Nexus 5, it is black illuminated sensor, BSI, autofocus, touch to focus, optical image stabilization, face detection, ISO control, white balance presence, burst mode, digital zoom, geotagging, high dynamic range, mode HDR, panorama, scenes, and self-timer. Features on the Samsung Galaxy S4, back illuminated sensor, BSI CMOS image sensor, autofocus, touch to focus, digital image stabilization, face detection, smile detection, exposure compensation, white balance presence, digital zoom, geotagging, high dynamic range, mode HDR, panorama, scenes, effects, self-timer, and voice activation. For the camcorder, on the Nexus 5 records in 1080p 30 frames per second, and the Samsung Galaxy S4 also records in 1080p 30 frames per second. Okay, if we go to the front-facing cameras, the Nexus 5 has a front-facing camera of 1.3 megapixels and the Samsung Galaxy S4 has a 2 megapixel front-facing camera. Okay, now we are done with the camera. Now we're going to be jumping to the hardware. The Nexus 5 has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 and the Samsung Galaxy S4 has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 600. The Nexus 5 has a quad-core running at 2.2 and the Samsung Galaxy S4 has a quad-core running at 1.9 gigahertz. Graphics processor on the Nexus 5 is the Adreno 330, and on the Samsung Galaxy S4 is the Adreno 320. The Nexus 5 has 2 gigabytes of RAM, and the Samsung Galaxy S4 also has 2 gigabytes of RAM. They both come with 16 gigs of internal memory. For the user on the Nexus 5, we have 9 gig, and we also have 9 gig available on the Samsung Galaxy S4. They both have micro SD extensions, and they can be extended up to 64 gig. So now we're gonna be jumping to the battery. The Nexus 5 has a battery of 2,300 milliamps, and the Samsung Galaxy S4 of 2,600 milliamps. They are both compatible with wireless charging. The Nexus 5 comes with the wireless charging built-in, but for the Samsung Galaxy S4, you need to buy a new cover that is compatible with the wireless charging. For connectivity, they both have Bluetooth 4.0. They have Wi-Fi 802.11 AVGN and AC. They both support mobile hotspot. They use USB 2.0, micro USB charger. Features: mass storage device, USB charging. They have HDMI connections by micro USB. The Nexus 5 have TV out, NFC, DLNA, Miracast, Slim port, tethering, computer sync, and auto sync. The Samsung Galaxy S4 has NFC, DLNA, Miracast, MHL, tethering, computer sync, auto sync, and infrared, meaning you can control the TV. So now we are going to be running some benchmark to see the performance of each. The first benchmark that I'm going to be running on both, it is quadrant standard. Now let's tap where it says run full benchmark. They are neck and neck. Okay, they are both done at the same time. The score that we have on the Samsung Galaxy S4 is 11,939, and the score that we have on the Nexus 5, it is 8,192. Now the next benchmark I'm going to be running, it is called AnTuTu benchmark. Before I begin, I'm going to close everything. Okay, we're going to begin. Again, they're neck and neck. The Nexus 5 went a little bit ahead. ahead of the S4. The score that we have on the Nexus 5 is 23,658. And the score that we have on the Samsung Galaxy S4, it is 27,461. The next benchmark that I'm going to be running, it is called Geekbench 3. Okay, the Nexus 5 just finished with a score of single core 797 and multi-core 2,336. The Samsung Galaxy S4 just finished with a score of 714 on single core and multi-core 2,224. As you can tell, the Nexus 5 is a little more powerful than the Samsung Galaxy S4. So this is all the benchmark that I'm going to be running. Now we're going to move on to the web browser. We're going to be loading some web pages to see how fast they load. I'm going to be loading a website called Newgrounds. That website, it is full of Flash videos. So let me load it here. The Nexus 5 finished first. So now let's try to load a video. First, we're going to start with the Nexus 5 to see how loud the speakers are. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the Samsung Galaxy S4. Okay, that's enough. From there, you can decide which speaker is the loudest. Now we're gonna run a benchmark for the browsers. They are called some Spider. The lower the number, the better the score. So we're gonna try to start at the same time. The Galaxy S4 went ahead. Okay, the Nexus 5 just finished. And we have a score of 858.5 ms. And let's wait for the Samsung Galaxy S4. Okay, the S4 just finished. The score that we have here, it was 733.1 ms. So as you can see, the S4 browser is better than the Nexus 5 browser. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, please click the like button and also subscribe to my channel so you can get more content. If you have any question, please leave it down below. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye.